Hey, what is going on, everyone? This is Vesper, and it's time to break down these winter update patch notes. Super exciting, and as tradition, of course, we gotta start with Ryu. And a little spoilers here, guys. Capcom has finally delivered. Honestly, I think they went too far this time. They went too far, but I guess they were tired of people not playing Ryu, so he got by far the most amount of buffs of any other character this season. It's like 4 pages long, man. So let's get started right away. There's a lot to talk about here. So the very first change we're going to talk about is they reduced the distance the opponent is after you do your forward throw. So you're a lot closer now, as you can see. So now you can sneak in another throw real quick. You're in range of your crouching medium punch now. I mean, honestly, guys, Ryu's forward throw was kind of cheeks, man. I mean, if the opponent got thrown by Ryu, they could pretty much just backdash for free, and there's nothing Ryu can do to stop them, man. I mean, getting thrown by Ryu is almost a good thing, because now you get away from all of his pressure. So Capcom definitely saw this as a huge weakness, and they buffed it so he's a lot closer. In fact, if the opponent backdashes now, you have some options. So now if you know they're going to backdash, you could pretty much just hit them like with a heavy kick. You can go into super from this. I think something else. You can just sweep them too. They're in a range of a lot of things. In the corner, you can get a crouching medium kick fireball. You can go from super that or EX fireball, for example. So now Ryu's a lot more threatening. You can't just backdash for free, right? You have to kind of hold that for a bit. Alright, so the next change is they buffed Ryu standing medium punch. It's now +2 on block rather than +1. So what this means is that even if your opponent does their fastest button, 3-frame or fastest button, they'll get beat by 2 standing medium punches. So now Ryu standing medium punch is a way better frame trapping tool. There's a much smaller gap now. So if they try to press anything, they can get counter hit. And then you can get a follow-up, so you can do something like this. Sweep them and knock them down, for example. You're going to have to respect your standing medium punch a lot more, which allows you to use it, get in, and get more throws, and get more pressure on your opponent. Okay, so this next change is pretty crazy. They made Ryu standing heavy punch always special move cancelable, even when not in V-trigger. I think Capcom already went too far with this one. So now you have a long range heavy normal that you can special cancel into rather than crouching heavy punch, which is much shorter range. And so for example, now if you land like a counter hit standing medium punch, now you have a longer range conversion like that, for example, that he only had in V-trigger before. Now he gets it all the time, but that's not why it's crazy. This is why now that this is the God button, okay? It's now that you can special cancel it. If you crush counter with this thing, you have like the easiest hit confirm in the world, okay? You could just fish with this button, and whenever you see the sparks fly, it's kind of like Ken where he goes into his V skill, you can confirm it easily. Same thing with Ryu. You see the visual confirm, boom, max deeps, okay? And don't forget, Capcom forgot, this button is -1 on block, so I don't know what Capcom was thinking here. They completely forgot to like normalize this for this change, but whatever, spam this button away. Blaze it. Okay, next change. Ryu's crouching medium kick, they made it faster. Starts up in 6 frames rather than 7. They're always buffing this normal, I noticed. But anyways, this means a few things. First off, it's going to help you punish things that are -6 easier because it has longer range than Ryu's crouching medium punch, so it'll help there. It'll help you in the neutral game in general because when you're throwing this thing out constantly, since it's faster, the opponent's going to have a harder time hitting you before you hit them. And something else, you guys will notice that Ryu standing light punch, it's +4 on hit. Means that counter hit is +6, which means that crouching medium kick now combos from counter hit standing light punch. Another buff they added is they made Ryu's crouching heavy kick faster by 1 frame. So this baby starts in 7 frames now, which is the same as Guile's sweep. So if you guys have been watching those Daigo videos, you know he likes to use these a lot for whiff punishes, and now you can do that with Ryu as well. It is lightning fast now. Next change is Ryu's forward hard punch. So what they did is they extended the hitbox on the second hit forward. So what this means is that you'll more consistently get 2 hits with this thing all the time if you do it really long range, for example. So it's just a quality of life change, a consistency change, which is always good. But more importantly, what Capcom did is they made it so the first hit is now V-trigger cancelable. You're +13 on this thing, I guess Capcom want to give more tools for Ryu to activate V-Trigger from far away. Most Ryus will do either sweep, right? Or they'll do low forward, EX Fireball activated. So it's just like another thing you can do. Plus 13 is a lot. You can do something like this, or you can combo into Donkey Kick, for example. Let me see what this is on block, actually. Plus 7, so you're still really plus as well, and you're very close to the opponent. So just another tool to use to activate. So another interesting change is they gave Ryu a new target combo. So it looks like this. It's standing medium punch, crouching heavy punch, standing heavy kick. Notice they use Ryu's old crouching heavy punch animation for it, but it pretty much works the same. The key difference is that since it uses crouching heavy punch rather than standing heavy punch with this other target combo, it will force stand. That's a big deal because the standing one whiffs on crouchers, right? So you go like this because the heavy kick misses, right? But since this forces stand, boom, it's always going to hit now, which is a big deal. And like I said, it's the properties are still the same. You can go like this into V-Trigger like you usually do, for example. Or if you're gonna shimmy the opponent back up, and now they're standing rather than crouching. So like I said, Capcom's really trying to make Ryu's offense consistent, so they give you another target combo to use here. So besides just buffing Ryu's normal attacks, Capcom has also buffed Ryu's Fireball again. So what they did is they made it harder to hit Ryu as he's throwing fireballs during the startup. So you notice how Ryu's hands stick out? It's a little hard to hit Ryu's hands or below his hands where his feet are in general. So this will make his zoning stronger, especially up close to the opponent, so you don't get hit by a normal attack as easily when you're chucking plasma at the opponent. Then it gets a little crazy from here. They buffed his EX Fireball in many ways. One way is now you can combo it from crouching light punch. So you can chain into it. So this is really scary because now Ryu has another knockdown option where the opponent is closer than if you combo into his EX Tatsu, for example. So now you have another alternate knockdown method. And then they add all these weird juggle properties. So now, for some reason, EX Fireball combos into itself at the right range. You can even go into EX Tatsu at the right range too. There we go. Because, you know, just because we want to buff Ryu. And there's juggle properties after it as well, so you can go something like this into Uppercut, you know, no problem. We're not in V-Trigger, but we can still do crazy juggles. It's okay. Just turn Ryu into Akuma. On top of this, they made it charge to level 2 faster in V-Trigger 1. So you can get that. So normally it does one hit, but look how fast it charges into level 2. Very fast. It's very noticeable. So this is very scary because if the other opponent is chucking fireballs at you, it's going to eat right through them with the charge if you get the timing right. Alright, next buff is Ryu's uppercuts. So his light uppercut now does 10 more damage. So now it does 110, just a slight damage buff. And then his heavy uppercut, they extended the hitbox upwards. So what I think this means is that now when the opponent jumps in on you and you anti-air with this thing, you don't have to do it as early. So you don't have to do it, get it as deep so you can get higher damage. Because if you do it way too early, you'll get like 60 damage. So now it's a little bit more lenient. So when they're closer, you can get the 120 or the 130 a little easier because the hitbox is bigger. Now on top of that, I showed you guys before, but they added juggle properties to it. So now you can combo it after EX Fireball. So I showed you guys a little preview of that. You can even do it from EX Tatsu. So that's pretty sick as well. And then they buffed Ryu's EX Uppercut. So they made it, the hitbox is extended outwards on it. So you can hit people really far with this thing and it's more consistent. Because sometimes, very rarely, Ryu will hit only one hit with this thing and it'll just drop. So I'll show you guys an example of like how dumb this range is on it now. So Capcom went a little overboard buffing Ryu's Hurricane Kicks. What they did is they made every single version hit crouching opponents. Even the light, even the medium, and the heavy. This gives Ryu a ton more Oki options, meterless. For example, you can combo into the heavy Tatsu right next to the opponent. It doesn't matter if they're crouching, it's going to hit them no matter what. Man, this is better than the version of Ryu in the beta, where you had to use the medium Hurricane Kick. Now you can use whatever you want. And of course, they didn't stop there. Now you have added juggle properties with this thing as well. So for example, if you do like the classic EX Fireball V-Trigger cancel, you can go light Tatsu now, dash forward light Tatsu for better Oki. There's a bunch of things that juggle now. I think before you couldn't do this, jumping medium punch into light Tatsu for better Oki. in general. Then they also buffed EX Hurricane Kick, so watch this. Notice how all the hits are hitting? Remember how the opponent used to fly out of this thing after like one hit? Now it's just like an actual tornado. Yeah, so Ryu's like, I don't know, he's basically a combo machine now. Like, everything just seems to work and juggle into itself. Like, of course that works. Now, if you don't like using Tatsu, that's okay, because Capcom buffed his donkey kicks as well. They buffed every single special move Ryu has. So his light donkey kick does 20 more damage, his medium does 20 more damage, and his heavy does 10 more damage. So this really helps Ryu's mirrorless combos, so you can get some extra oomph with that. His medium punch now goes into his heavy donkey kick. So now that really helps. Like if you go into super, you're going to get some really crazy damage with this thing, which is really nice. And then they made his EX donkey kick now combos from his crouching medium kick. Like what? So now you have this confirmed now. So this is insane. So if you buffer this mid-match, I mean, getting hit by Ryu's crouching medium kick is already death as it is. Now we're worried about the EX donkey kick as well. There's also some quality of life changes they made. So when you land EX donkey kick, it's easier to combo into the light Tatsu. Basically, you input the Tatsu as your opponent is hitting the wall, and then it'll come out automatically at the right timing, just because a lot of people were dropping that combo. And they also changed some stuff where they made it so if you combo it in the corner, it's a little easier to hit the opponent, because before their uppercut would just whiff. Now you can just do light uppercut. Sorry guys, I'm using pad here, it's hard to do stuff. There we go. So you can see that's more consistent now as well. So pretty damn huge buff to donkey kick. And the light one has more juggle properties, so you can juggle this into everything, just like your uppercut and your fireball. Alright, we're done talking about normals and special moves now. Let's talk about the buffs to the V system. So let's start with Ryu's VSkill 1, his parry. So what they did is they made it so that during V-Trigger 1, when Ryu parries, it refills his timer. Okay, so look at the bottom left of the screen, and you'll see the bar is going up. So if you parry something multi-hitting, or if someone's throwing fireballs at you while you're trying to fireball back, if you parry it, you're going to get more total time to get in your opponent with this thing. So the next thing that Capcom did is they made it so you can cancel out of his parry with EX special moves or super instantly. So what that means is that like it's kind of like Gil's parry, where it's like the better version and you could punish things a lot easier. So one example of that is like if the opponent jumps in on you, for example, and you parry it, you'll be able to EX uppercut them before they land on the ground and can block it, for example. There'll be things on the ground where you parry it and you can go into EX donkey kick and punish it that way, just like better version of the parry, especially with, you know, the V system in the game now. They want to make the parry stronger. And then, of course, it can go into super as well. So you guys have to experiment with this, but it's definitely a buff to his VSkill 1. I'll try to show you guys an example. Like, if someone throws a fireball close to you, like, look how fast that is. It instantly cancels into super. Just don't forget, it's EX moves and super only. Now, if you don't like using VSkill 1, don't worry, man. Capcom's got you covered. They buffed the hell out of VSkill 2 as well in many, many different ways. The most important is that Ryu can now cancel this from his target combo. Boom! So, I mean, it's just like Cage, man. They're just going crazy with this. Now he gets insane mirrorless damage, and probably Oki too, because it didn't knock as far. And this also helps Ryu get V-Gauge now with this thing, because now you can just combo into it. You don't have to worry about countering it. So that's very reliable. It also works with his new target combo. So don't worry if they're crouching, it's going to be super consistent no matter what. And even works from heavy punch, heavy kick, actually. Yeah, heavy punch, heavy kick works as well. And don't forget, you can V-trigger cancel this thing. So it's just, yeah, everything's just buffed across the board V-skill wise. Now on top of all of that, they made it a little safer too. So on block, there's a little bit more pushback on this thing. It's not insane, but it's just like you can throw this out a little bit more without getting like absolutely blasted with it. They also changed the window of the parry itself. So now it's just like a couple of frames. It's not insane, but now you can hit it pretty early and it knocks a little bit more consistently now. So now you can, if you know an attack is coming, you can get rewarded for it basically. a little easier because the window was pretty bad with it in general. So yeah, buffs across the board for VSkill too. I might see a lot more Ryu players use this one now. Just keep in mind, guys, that this only works when you hit the opponent with the target combo. So Capcom's not gonna let you just do like random target combo and then use it to make it safe and then activate V-trigger from it. So unfortunately, you can't do that. So Ryu gets buffed like almost every single season, but the one thing holding him back is that he has weak V-triggers compared to most of the cast, even when the game first came out. But Capcom really done it this time. They buffed both his V-triggers up immensely. So starting with V-trigger 1, the first thing they did is they made the timer last a little bit longer. Just a little bit, that's okay. But where they went nuts is they made it so every single punch attack Ryu has is +2 on hit while the V-trigger is active. In other words, every single punch attack is now counter hit on. And this is even better than counter hit, because if you get a counter hit while the V-trigger is up, you get +4 on hit, making Ryu do some wacky combos, man. We're gonna have to make a new combo video just for Ryu alone with his V-trigger. So let me show you guys what I mean. You can pretty much combo anything now. His standing light punch, for example, is all counter hits, so he combos into crouching medium kick, which is the new buff, and then you can combo into EX donkey kick, which is also the new buff. Pretty much you can make any combo you want. You can go standing medium punch, standing heavy punch, for example. So of course that combos. You can sweep naturally from standing medium punch. Like, what the heck is this? Like, literally anything in your imagination you can think of. You can go like this, and standing medium punch will combo naturally. And remember, this is without counter hit. With counter hit, it's gonna make even more weird stuff happen. You could even combo into your forward hard punch with a deep enough jump in. If I can get this right, it's a really deep jump in. But if, like, let's say you block an uppercut, there we go. If you block an uppercut, you're gonna do insane damage. No one will dare try to reversal Ryu when he has his V-trigger 1 up. Yeah, with counter hit on, I mean, this will be a lot easier. There we go. Oh my god, almost stuns them. Jeez. Crouching light punch probably calls them the sweep. Yep. And crouching light punch to crouching heavy punch. Oh my god. You can even go backwards with this thing. You can go heavy punch into medium punch. Yeah, we definitely need to make a new combo video for Ryu. Alright, time for the grand finale. So, if you can somehow believe this, guys, I think the buff they did to V-trigger 2 is even better than V-trigger 1. Better than custom combo Ryu. I know that sounds crazy, but just check this out. Okay, so first let me tell you guys the bad. So what they did is they made it so Ryu's parry in his V-trigger 2, the V-trigger 2 parry, now you only get 2 guessies, and then it's gone. It drains half a bar per use. Okay, I know that sounds bad, but hear me out. And then another thing they did is that when you are successful and you parry it, it drains the entire bar in one go. So you only get 1 parry now with it. Now, all of this doesn't matter. All of this doesn't matter, because you're never going to use the parry with this again. What you're going to do now is use this new move they gave you. So now when you do any uppercut, fireball, or donkey kick, the normal versions, not the EX, you get a new move. You press V-trigger again, and it'll cancel into the thrust strike anyways, as if like you parried the opponent. The amount of damage this thing does is absolutely absurd. It's like you're hitting your opponent with a super, okay? Even doing like a crouching medium kick fireball is super deadly on your opponent. Your light confirms are super strong now, because you can do it from donkey kick, and you can still do it from EX fireball. It's the only exception. EX move is EX fireball. But like for example, just look at the timer, okay? Look at the V-trigger timer on the bottom left. Look how slow that's going. Look how much time you have to land a hit on your opponent. There is no pressure, okay? So now everything from Ryu is so lethal, and with all the changes combined, this thing is just devastating. This thing just does stupid damage. Like, it's overboard. It's overboard. For a 2-bar V-trigger, it's completely overboard, man. And now Ryu is definitely viable, okay? Everything has been buffed across the board. Normals, specials, V-skills, V-trigger, everything. And with V-shift on top of that, man, if you don't use Ryu now, there's no excuses anymore. They can't do anything. There's nothing they can do to Ryu besides giving him a Gatling gun that they can to make players want to use this character. It's just ridiculous. Capcom went absolutely overboard. That's what players want. They didn't want to balance Ryu. They wanted an overpowered Ryu. So here it is. And we'll see if pro players actually pick this character up now. This is, like I said, the most buff character of the entire season by far. We're going to see a spike in popularity on the character, especially on the pro side, because Ryu already is a popular character online. And yeah, we'll see if this takes him up to the top, and the poster boy will actually be seen for the last year of the game. So let me know, guys, in the comments below what you think of all these Ryu changes. If you guys tried out all these new combos and stuff, I'll be sure to make a follow-up video showing all the new combos and tricks with Ryu in the future. And yeah, let me know which patch notes you guys would like me to go through next in the comments below, and we'll get to them one day at a time here. Got a bunch more guys coming out through the door here. Hit me up with a like, subscribe, and check out my stream. I'm live pretty much every single day, and I'll see you guys next time. Peace out.